So, Satanic Panic. This case is gonna deal with Satanic Panic, which is funny because I'm working on another case with Satanic Panic. They might go up the same day. So this case is in Indiana, the other one is in Texas. But we're going to be talking about the Davies-Evansville County John Doe today in Indiana. And this is a 90s case, so I mean it's not like relatively that old. It's 32 years old this year. Wow. Anywho, so if you're new here, hey, I'm Liz. This is Creating Crime Time, where I'm your host. I sit down, I talk about a true crime case, and sometimes there's art involved. If you're new here, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Also, if you're new, thank you and welcome. I am just a weird person that likes to talk about true crime, especially older crime, vintage crime. I like all crime. So if you want to stick around, if you want to keep enjoying this crew, every time I try to say true, I try to say crew. If you want to enjoy the true crime cases that I'm covering, hit that subscribe button and turn your bell notification on to all, and let's get into today's true crime case. So, 7th of January of 1990, the mutilated naked body of a young man was found. Where was it found, you ask? He was laid in overgrown weeds, and he had been there for at least 2 days. His hand and feet were cut off. Now, when I was researching this case, it says lopped off, and I take that as cut off. So, yeah, they were cut off. His teeth were also yanked out of his face, and his skull was crushed. So this was quite a savage death. So when police discovered him, they saw that he was savagely beaten, and he was shot several times. Police did try to identify him, but he didn't have any, he didn't match any missing persons reports, and obviously due to the lack of fingerprints and the lack of teeth, and the severe damage to his face by them beating him, it made identification very hard for him and for police to carry out. So police also would determine that this man was carried to where his body was found, because of it would be hard to squeeze a car into where he was found, and I mean the car wouldn't make it because it's heavily weeded. And police also determined that the killer would have had to walk for miles to get to exactly where he was. So I will say too that also in the Davies-Evansville area around this time, in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a ton of numerous deaths and dead bodies found, and also a lot of disappearances happening in this area. And the deaths that were happening and bodies that were being found, they were often very grotesque, grisly murders that were happening. So yeah, there was a lot happening in this area when he was found. But so yeah, since his discovery, this case took a lot of crazy twists and turns, and there has been tons of false identifications and false accusations of Satanism and thoughts of multiple serial killers. So this John Doe, he was believed to be about 5 feet to 5 feet 6 inches in height, weighing anywhere between 130 to 140 pounds. He was approximately 35 years of age. So he was on the smaller side. He was a petite, slim-built man, and about 35 years of age. So, March 1990. The county officials say they have filed at least 75 complaints and charges against 11 young people, reportedly for committing criminal acts related to satanic rituals. So, what is good to know about the late 80s, early 90s? Satanic Panic was crazy. So basically what that is due to the uprising of serial killers and grisly deaths that were happening post like 1960 to this time, people believed that these murders were an act of Satan. And basically what had happened is that anytime there was a like sexual assault, a grisly murder, disappearances, it all related to the devil and like Satan himself. So Evangelical Christians and fundamentalist Christians, or fundies, they really became popular in this time due to the fact that Satan was on the rise, and it created a very widespread hysteria for the United States. People were going nuts. Kind of like a modern day witch hunt, basically. Which, I mean, if this goes up after the Kelly Day Wilson case, or if that case goes on after this, I mean, you're going to hear it twice about Satanic Panic, but still. So, a spokesman for this part, I had no idea that this was an actual committee, and I read it and I was like, what is going on? What? My mind was blown. So a spokesman for the Owensboro branch of Satanic Awareness Committee told press that it's possible that the Davies-Evansville County John Doe, his death, the mutilated death of this man, was related or tied to occultism. So, I mean, this added to the hysteria at the time, especially in Indiana. He also stated that the man was discovered on St. Winebald Day. So this is an occult holiday that's observed by dismembering and sacrificing an animal or a human body. So all of this craziness was tied to the Satanic Panic. And yeah, law enforcement didn't believe any of this. They thought it was horseshit. And they especially didn't believe that this John Doe was this theory is just fucked. So the theory is that a demon was ravaging beasts. But so what they did is they took him, they mutilated him, dismembered him, and this is how they killed the beast. Well, law enforcement didn't believe this. I mean, I wouldn't either. And John Doe his death has never been tied to any satanic activity. So, I mean, that whole satanic shit is just nuts. There is a few serial killers that they tried to tie to this case. James Ray Cable and Philip Clopton, and also Donald Leroy Evans. But there's no significant tie from them to him. Also in 2007, this is the false identification that I briefly kind of touched on. The Davies County Sheriff's Office announced that the DNA from this John Doe matched Scott Michael Morris, who was a missing 14-year-old boy who ran away in 1978. And he ran away from home. But this turned out to be a false DNA match, and we still don't know where Scott Michael Morris is to this day. So this case still remains a mystery. I hope that, again, with all of these Jane and John Doe cases, that they will extract DNA if their remains are still viable, to the point where they can even extract bone marrow. You'll still be able to get, some DNA sources out of that, but I hope that they'll be able to extract DNA and finally give this man a name to his face. Because, I mean, none of these Jane and John Does deserve to be laid to rest without a name, and for their families to finally be at peace, to know what happened to them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the lovely case of the Davies-Evansville John Doe. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in my next video.